really do. You're a 21-year-old punk fucking kid. Grandpa's given you everything all your fucking life. You've never had a car payment, a house payment. Everything you live in was given to you by Grandpa. You fucking don't know what it's like to work for a fucking living like I do, to bust my fucking ass and do what I do. And you know what, Sean? You fucked me, and that's the way you got it. But you know what? Your grandpa's money will run out someday, and you'll have to feast for yourself. Get a fucking job, you piece of shit.
Welcome to Behind the Smoke, our most special edition of Behind the Smoke, because we are doing it live from Del Mar. The Del Mar races. Today was the Pacific Classic. The number one horse in the world was racing $1 million, and what were we doing? We were loading in professional Kansas City Barbecue Society teams. We had an entire crew here that were working all day, all night, and we're here for the Del Mar BBQ State Championship, and we have an amazing special guest that we're so honored to bring on. How are we doing tonight, Derek?
Hey, man, everything's going good. I can't believe it's finally here. We're excited. It's been pretty wild to when it becomes game day. You know, you do your practices and you get ready and you think you're ready, and then when it's game time, you just go and got everyone loaded in. Seems like it went a whole lot smoother this year than it did last year, and I think we'll continue to grow on that. And all the teams seem to be just really excited. There seems to be a lot of momentum behind this event. Every team that I've talked to is really excited about, doing PC and giving back and making sure this is good for the public. So,
yeah, I mean, having organizations and training, the charity, Shane Walton, he was a guest on our podcast. I grew up with him in La Jolla, and we talked about community service when you're young and you don't know what that means and you don't know what that impact can have. It really comes full circle when you come to an event like this and you meet people like Gene Goycochea and Arlie Bragg and our friend here, Randy Gille. Barbecues, it's a special, special place. And the more that you give to barbecue, we talk about the more that barbecue gives back to you. And, to be here with all these teams, I mean, teams are scrambling around. They're trying to make sure that they have the things they need for the health inspection, to make sure they have the sidewalls. 2 new teams, they've never competed before. They started asking questions. One couple, they're going to Home Depot, trying to help out another team. I mean, it's what Arlie talked about in the last podcast.
It is. I mean, they truly come together to help out. And, we talk about the charity aspect of it, and I think we're just so honored that we're able to be mentored by 2 of the best, and we have 2 of the best on the podcast right now with Gene and Randy. And I thank you guys, man. It's really cool to be your mentees. Did I make up a word?
Mentees is fine. Is that an animal? A manatee? Right. Are we manatees?
Oh, I'm definitely a manatee. You should see me in the water. I'm definitely a manatee too.
You're a quick manatee.
Yeah, but no, I mean that's it's really cool to be able to do that and learn from the best. So appreciate you guys coming on and doing it live. I mean, what better place than Del Mar?
I mean, that's the coolest thing about podcasting. I mean, so this is the second offsite that we've done. We did one at Mighty 1090 where we went right in the middle of Mighty 1090 studios and did a podcast with Scott Kaplan, who was awesome to us yesterday. But now we're here, and in life opportunities, things happen for a reason. And, I truly believe that there was a reason why Gene Goycochea came into my life, and at that time, we were struggling to figure out a way to raise money for local youth sports. And, we've talked about it. We wouldn't be Cali Comfort Barbecue, and we might not even be open as a restaurant if Gene and I hadn't met. And, I called him. I actually called 3 people, and Gene was the only person not only to call me back, but to come out to the restaurant, to answer all my questions, to pick up the phone when I called and ask more questions. And every time You
mean you didn't annoy him?
Apparently, I'm annoying. I'm a very annoying person. I'm pretty.
Well, you're persistent.
You think?
No.
Yeah, that's probably one of my biggest strengths and one of my biggest weaknesses. Is like I'm all gas all the time.
Right.
But yeah,
what's a break?
Break.
I don't know what the break is.
I don't idle very well.
There's a pedal on the right side, and that's pretty much all we know.
Well, Randy, we met because of Gene, and Gene has had such a huge impact on Kansas City Barbecue Society. I mean, from a competitive level where he was a team and people that met him. You know, we've heard the stories from what he would do on the circuit and how he would help other teams and how he was always giving back, and he would win prize money, and he never kept that prize money. He donated that right back to the charity. And, you know, some people will say stuff in life and they don't actually do it. And the reason that Gene has become a family member, you know, my wife absolutely adores him. My son, you know, has already, you know, Uncle Gene, and there's a reason why, is because his character and his heart is 100%. And tell us a little bit about how you came into the world of barbecue.
Gosh, I think about, must have been close to 20 some years ago, I had the opportunity through my church actually to learn and pick up this desire on how to cook things better. And we were cooking specifically for the homeless and for the congregation. And I thought it was very, very important to, I enjoyed it. I thought it was absolutely, a wonderful experience. I had wonderful people working with me. I dragged Ron Bax, my good wingman here, to join me. And 20 years ago, he joined me, and we literally started 20 years ago.
Oh, wow. 20 years you guys have been together.
Oh, we've known each other longer than that, but as far as cooking events, I think it's got to be at least 20 plus years where we started cooking for the homeless and for the church, and it just expanded. We just took on more and more, and as the main chef, an absolutely wonderful man by the name of Don Carpenter, who was a retired military chef, he introduced us to cooking, and we really learned how to cook well for large groups. Got to the point, if we weren't cooking for 50 people, we weren't cooking.
Right.
Right.
That was the magic number to start.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then with the progression of time, Ron and I have cooked for larger groups, 200-300 people. It's like a drop in the bucket.
Right.
It's like, that's not the beginning. We're really not interested.
Yeah.
We do what the church requests. When Ron's church has an event, we cook and we do whatever we can to assist in that regard. Whatever needs to be done, Ron has always been there and pushed hard. And we've pushed hard, not only trying to learn how to be better chefs, but help other people learn how to become a little more self-conscious about food safety.
Sure.
And, what is acceptable norms and what isn't.
Well, that's really important too. Just by with your product, you want to make sure that everything's turning out consistent, and with that consistency, you have to take care of your product. And,
yes.
And if you don't understand that, it's hard to get a nice consistent product.
Well, Ron and I will argue, is this a safe zone temperature? How can we better handle it? How can we season this do this better? We're always having these discussions. What's safe, what isn't safe, what makes sense, what doesn't make sense.
Sure. So what's the biggest group you guys have cooked for?
Gosh, it would probably have to be the 29 Palms event that we were involved in. Ron, I think Tom Emery was the person that was initially in charge of that event, and he asked me to get involved, and I said I'd be more than glad to get involved, but I would like to do it my way, which meant that I was going to bring Ron aboard. And Ron, being the organizer that he was, he would keep track of all the product coming in, make sure the product was properly distributed between the helpers that we had. I think it was 13,000, 17,000. It was some big number like that.
Wow.
But we went away from
That's
the traditional
amazing.
Service line where you have, eight lines for people to go through. We more or less did a McDonald's approach, which is the approach that we utilize at our church, which is we typically do everything our way.
Yes.
And at the end of the window, you get your food.
Yes.
It's not a matter of you picking anything. You get everything we make.
Yes.
I like it.
Yeah, that's efficiency.
Yeah.
We're big fans of efficiency, but you can't do that volume unless you unless you do it your way.
Yeah, there's really no middle ground here. You got to do it my way. Everyone's doing the exact same program. And we literally had a handful of people. Phil Polanco was with me for that last event. Phil organized the serving area. Ron was the runner to make sure that the food was properly cooked and brought forward. I mean, we cooked tons.
What kind of food?
Well, we cooked pork. We cooked chicken. We had side dishes. Ron, what else did we cook for that event?
I don't really remember.
I remember I cooked a lot.
I had all the pork butts and I had left over, and unbeknownst to us, the military added a pallet of pork butt for us.
Oh,
So,
wow.
just one more thing we threw on. Okay, we can deal with this.
Sure.
And we did. For that particular event, I had a lot of people there that were absolutely some of the best barbecuers in the world.
Yeah.
In my mind.
Right.
I've always used Gene as my mentor on these projects, what I can do, what I can't do, what are my limitations.
Gene's going to tell you straight exactly what you want to hear or what you don't want to hear, but at least it's going to be the truth.
And that's the only way you should accept it.
It's the best. It's
You
the
know,
absolute best.
you gotta do it the right way.
It's funny because so many people, when they first meet Gene, and we're fortunate to know him for 10 years and respect the wisdom that he has and the stories that he has and all the recommendations that he has, and he's just going to tell you in his experience this is the best way to do it. But some people, they're put off by how truthful he is and he's just going to tell you truthfully. But I've come to love him so much because my wife, she's Bulgarian, and no filter is how it's just brutal honesty. Mm-hmm. And some people are, they'd rather you sugarcoat things, and for me, I'd rather just know how it is. And Gene's like, hey, that product, that ribs that you guys have, it's terrible. Well, if you want to learn how to do it, I'll teach you how to do it.
Yeah, he'll tell us how it is. And not only that, Sean, is that we tend to be why guys, right? Like, I don't like to know, like, don't just tell me. I want to know why we're doing it this way. And the best thing that's ever happened to me is Gene will take that time to tell you the whys.
Sure.
This is why we're doing it this way. And if I can't learn, and for him to be so transparent with us, it's just helped us so much. And that was the best thing, because if I want to know, hey, why are we doing this? He has an answer for it. So he's not just full of shit about, whatever he thinks his best thing. He's going to tell you that the true reasons on why it's going to happen and how it's going to happen. And we've got past so many steps because we haven't had to learn. Gene's like, no, this is how we're doing it.
We fast tracked it with Gene.
Yeah.
Well,
went right in the carpool lane.
That's absolutely correct.
Yeah. There's
no substitute for doing.
Yeah.
You gotta do it.
And that was what Gene, he always told us. He would say, if you want to learn, I'm going to be at this event. And that's an open invitation, which I'm sure, knowing Gene the way I know Gene, he probably tells it to people all the time.
Sure.
I think I'm fortunate to be crazy enough to be the one that says, Tommy, my brother, I'm like, we're going to see, if Gene invited us, we're going. If I said I'm going, and I don't care where it is. I'm going to make sure that I said, Gene, I'm coming out to help. How can I help? And I go up there, and Gene's like, oh, what can I do for you? Like, come on, Gene, I came up here to help you. What do you need? I came to volunteer. You tell us what you need.
Watch.
Yeah.
Steal with your eyes. Learn. Don't just, pass time there, socializing. Go there with the purpose of learning.
It's amazing what you can learn. We're so proud, Derek and I, of watching our team today. And, the more that they give and the more that they work with the teams that come in and the reps, the better this event has gotten, just because, Bill is willing to go all in on the map. And, this is where he's going to make sure that, this line's going to be better for tomorrow. And JC's on the other PC side,
right,
and working with the parking people and all the different moving parts here, it makes us so proud, and having someone like Derek Walls and your entire crew that just stepped up and selflessly.
Oh, they killed it, man. They absolutely killed it.
What can I do? What can I do? How can I help?
I think it was for a little bit there. We were kind of like, whoa, like I almost don't have something for you to do right now.
Three times today. I couldn't believe it.
And that never. I don't want to say it never happens, but it's like, man, I this is so cool because everyone's wanting to learn. Everyone's wanting to see what can I do? How can I help? And that is exactly what barbecue is about.
Yes.
It's about learning. It's about transparency. We're huge proponents of education. If we can teach people the ways, the whys, it really helps out to grow this. And, we talk about relationships and how we can, capitalize on the relationships that we create and new avenues that we go down. And barbecue brings all that to us.
I mean, we wouldn't be here in Del Mar if it wasn't for barbecue and if it wasn't for giving back. I mean, that's the legacy that Gene has, given Derek and I, and we wouldn't know you, Randy, and that the most amazing people that we've met in our lives are people that they live life that way. They give back.
Well, we have a whole generation of new barbecuers out there.
Absolutely.
That haven't been exposed to this, that need to step up to the plate.
Yeah.
Take the big step, and join.
Yes.
Become active. Don't be the wallflower just that comes up for the barbecue events.
Yes.
Be a participant.
Yes.
Make
absolutely.
a difference. Make a difference. Count for something.
Yeah. That's.
If you guys are thinking that you sound like hear a train going by, it's because there's a train going by.
It's because we're on the main stage
at Del Mar,
where
and the Amtrak just
where
flew by.
all the best concerts happen. We decided to go on the main stage. I hope I don't get a. You shouldn't have done that, Sean. But at the end of the day, we did it.
Yeah, what are they going to do?
I don't know. We made some good friends. I mean, that's another thing. We were actually talking with the McIntoshes earlier about how people go to events and they don't acknowledge all the moving parts that are at an event. But once you start to do that and you say hello to the person that's taking your ticket and you acknowledge them and give them a smile. I mean, there's guys in the parking lot that they're some of my favorite people. There was a lady this morning. She made my day. She came out here and she was ready to come clean up after the band. All this disgusting stuff, have to go through the porta potty, and she was smiling and laughing the whole time.
Respect the process.
Respect the process. She loves it. She embrabraces it.
No,
She's
she-
like, this
she
is
really
my
did.
job, and I love it, and it gives me an opportunity.
She was so happy this morning.
She was awesome. She was
Man,
rad.
that was exciting to see. And yeah, I mean, the people that you see that when you drive in, just a smile, just a hello, makes their day. They're so busy dealing with all these people that are rude. It's like, hey man, how you doing? How are you doing? Can I help you with anything?
It becomes no longer a transaction. And,
Right.
We talk about that in the restaurant too. It's, businesses that treat, this is something where I'm just going to try to make this momentary profit where I'm going to sell you a burger. I'm going to sell you some ribs and that's it. Like we want our servers to embrace learning about that guest, learning about that table. And the more that they learn and the more that they listen, the better service and the better hospitality that we can provide. Sure. I mean, Gene, how did you and Randy become such good friends?
Well, Randy and I both were competing in barbecue. We both had similar interests. We both did a lot of charitable work. We just became friends through the barbecue world, and he became someone I respected very, very much. Very giving person. Just always there to help. Always there to do things for others that don't have anything or can't do something for themselves. Just a very, very respectable person that has a good heart. And we would go to these charity events and he would stay there till the end, until everything was done. He would do more than anyone else and just work hard to make other people happy. Yeah, we just became friends over the years as a result.
We joke about that sometimes when people will say, well, I text Sean this morning. There was a little saying where it's like, we don't stop when we're tired. We stop when we're done. That's
yeah.
When things are done. I mean, when we're tired, we grind through it. And what's the best part is that we're giving back.
That's when you learn the most.
Yeah.
You learn the most from your mentors. I mean, when I was in Canton at the PFUFA, the Pro Football Ultimate Fan Association, these are all the people that are just like barbecue. Like they tailgate and they take their team and they give back through charity and they put on this amazing tailgate. At the end of the tailgate, all the people that were younger and, new to the process, they were all gone. All the people were barbecue teams pretty much breaking down, and I went over and I helped Alvarez put away his tent, put away the other tent. I was like, who else can I help? They're like, well, you get it. I'm like, it's not about me getting it.
No.
Like, that's just how it is.
It's selfless acts.
Like,
That's what makes it go.
I know how it is because when we go and we tailgate, we're the ones when Bill's loading up and JC's loading up, and we're like, well, where is everybody else? No, everybody else is gone. The people that are still there loading up and helping other teams to load up, they're the ones that are going to get the most out of anything.
And that's who we want to associate ourselves with.
Absolutely.
The people that are there, you always talk about the fourth quarter in football,
Yes.
The people that are there when it's, fourth quarter, 1 minute left. Who do you want by you? Who do you want by your side? The guy I know that's not going to give up, that's going to push hard, that's going to keep doing, and that's it's cool to see how exciting or how excited some of the young kids are too with the barbecue. And if we can mentor them, we're young ourselves, but if we can keep mentoring those young kids to grow, it will just be a great thing for barbecue. Do you know how many times you guys have competed against each other?
I don't know quite.
Or how many
quite
contests?
Like
10, 20?
Probably more than that.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Nice. Have you always had a really big rig, Randy?
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
I think that's always been the progression. Bigger is better.
Right.
Until finally you realize, oh my gosh.
How big do we get?
At 30 feet, you got to wonder, okay, maybe this may have gone a little too far.
And what do you do for your day job, Randy?
I'm a lawyer.
You're a lawyer. So how does, in the lawyer world, how do they react when you tell them the kind of weekends that you have when you go on these barbecue expeditions?
Well, first of all, I do a lot of cooking for the various legal organizations whenever they have an event. Mm-hmm. I'll call in Gene and my other buddies
All
and
the
say, okay,
heavyweights.
guys, I'm making $200 a plate for this charity group here.
Yeah.
How do I cook these scallops, or how do I cook this lobster? And, stuff that most people would never cook on a barbecue. Right. So I bring in the A-team to assist me because I don't know that stuff.
Yeah.
I'm not exposed to that. But, I count on other people that do know how to do it.
So tell us a little bit more about your custom pit, about the story behind it.
Where to even begin? I think it started as a very small pit that we purchased in Houston, Texas, probably 20-some years ago. And with the progression of time, we realized that it was a little small, didn't quite have what I needed. So my brother-in-law, Harold Howell, who owned a machine shop, said, I've got a plasma cutter, and we can cut this puppy right up. And before we knew it, we were doing 1/4-inch steel plates, and we were working on designs and fabrications, and that's where it started. Then it was, this is really too small, so we ended up getting a couple additional units. At the end of the day, I said, Dave, I really need something that really does what I need. I got these little hodgepodges that just doesn't do it any longer. And Dave Close and I collaborated over this for some period of time, and the end result was that after many years of working on it and getting it just right, last year for this event, I finally had the pit delivered. And I realized then that I had created a monster. And this monster will eat you.
Yes. It is just unbelievable.
It's not a 2-person pit. It's not a 3-person pit. The last time that I cooked for the VA, we were running teams of 20 people.
Wow.
It's incredible.
Just to shove product through the pit.
It is incredible. Honestly, it's the way that the pit is set up on every single side. There's a different way to cook food. You
have your barbecue.
It's a different station.
Santa Maria, smoker. It's beautiful. Absolutely beautiful.
And if ignored, it'll bite you.
Yes.
It'll burn you. Yeah. It'll hurt you.
Yes.
But if you treat it right and you follow the rules, you pay attention, you'll get great product.
So how did the design come to be?
Dave Close.
Yep.
Dave Close, I gave him my rough ideas, and Dave Close out in Houston, Texas, the wonderful barbecue fabricator that he is just, said, well, this is what it really should look like. Oh, okay, that works. And this needs to be a little longer here and a little longer. And what do you think about, of course, Dave, whatever you think.
Yeah.
Now, Gene, you've had a few of those same grills, right?
I have had some very large, close pits. Big fan of them. David Close is a good friend of mine, good friend of Randy's. Known him for more than 20 years. He's built many pits for me. He's given me pits because I do a lot of charitable work, and he's just given them to me. Great guy. He made Randy an awesome pit. He's made me many awesome pits, and he's just there for you. Top quality. I mean, you can't beat it. I mean,
And when this man made my pits, he knew where it was going and how it was going to be used. He could have easily charged me twice what he asked for. I gladly paid what he wanted.
Sure.
He did it the right way, and man, it just I'm proud to be the custodian.
Absolutely. So when as an attorney, did you actually do legal work in the barbecue world? Is that correct?
Well, I do a little of that too.
Yeah. So that kind of pulled you in, but originally that wasn't what you studied, right?
No. Originally, I was, and I still am. I'm a personal injury attorney.
Okay.
I've been a personal injury attorney for over 30 years. I plan on being a personal injury attorney for another 10, 15 years.
That's great.
That's my goal. And I'm going to aggressively fight to reach that goal. Barbecuing, it's always close to my heart. Just like in personal injury work, I do what I do as long as I can make a difference. It's not about the money. It's what can I do to help or change a person's life? How can I make this person's life a little better? How can I make a difference? And that's the way I run my practice. And that's, how I deal with barbecue. I've never made a penny using my barbecue.
Yeah.
Any of them.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, that's so good to hear, too, because you get so many of these horror stories about different attorneys, taking advantage of people. And to know you and to know your heart and what you do, it's just a breath of fresh air, man.
Well, the good Lord gave us a lot of gifts.
Sure.
And how we choose to use those gifts. I was also given the gift of being able to practice law. That was a gift that allowed me to fund the charitable work that I wanted to do. I think it's a very important portion of my law practice.
Sure.
It's not about making money or having the fastest car or the best car. It's about what's the next event I can do that'll make a difference.
Oh, absolutely. We always talk about that stamp that you leave. It's not we're here for such a short time, and what we can leave to our kids and teach and instill, and if we can make a difference, not just to the one person around us, but the many people around us, and teach and hopefully instill those lessons. I mean, it just pays itself forward.
It's just such an amazing thing that Derek and I was talking about earlier with Brad Cooper. Coops is coming out here, and once you stop focusing on yourself and you start focusing on what can you do for somebody else, things just change. It's been totally different for Derek and I to stop focusing on Cali Comfort and stop focusing on Valley Farm and focus on the barbecue industry and the barbecue community, and to find out, all these amateur teams that are turning into KCBS teams. This is going to be their first contest. What can we do to support them, to help them learn the things, maybe learn on a less steep of a learning curve than we had to. What can we do to help them out? Then you hear these amazing stories, and those stories, they inspire us to, how can we raise more money? How can we help more people? How can we put on something, how can we make this event better, a better experience?
Sure. When I was doing competitions, one of the things that I enjoyed doing most was literally, when everyone else was starting to go to sleep and they were starting to crank doing their product, I'd walk around and, introduce myself, and if I could show them something or do something a little different that might make it easier for them.
Yeah.
It's nothing more than how to use a knife sharpener properly.
Right.
Make sure that your knife's always sharp. Make sure that you learn how to cut a chicken.
Sure.
How to trim a brisket.
Yeah. But because you were willing to go out, go into an uncomfortable zone where you don't know somebody, I'm sure that's why you met people like Arlie Bragg and Gene Goycochea, because that's how those things happen. You have to be willing to be uncomfortable and go and talk to somebody else. You know,
Be
do
vulnerable.
something. Yeah, be vulnerable and say, hey, you know, that we talked to some teams today, and we're like, you know, don't be shy to say something that you just don't know.
Yeah.
Because we didn't know. You know, we didn't know, and we if it wasn't for Gene, if it wasn't for Arlie, we would have no clue.
Yeah,
you know,
it's a matter of being a good listener. Being a good listener, listening to people, you know, when they're having problems, or, you know, or they ask you, how can I do this better? You know, sure, I'll show you. You know, I'm not proud if I can show you something, or if you can show me something that makes it easier for me. And I've done that. I've literally had cases where I've had pending trials, and the case is settled on the eve of trial. I realized I had an open opportunity for 4 or 5 days or a week. I'd literally go through the various California KCBS and find out where the competitions were, and call up some of these teams and say, look, you know, I'm a barbecue chef. I'm not a professional chef. I do this to help my community. Can I clean your pit? Can I, you know, take care of your ashes?
Sure.
Can I do the night watch?
can I do all the stuff that nobody wants to do?
And I did. I've introduced myself to really wonderful chefs like Chris Lilly.
Oh,
you
wow.
know, he took me under his wing, and for a weekend, you know, he showed me everything there was. He'd work on a closed canopy. I was there with his team learning how to do things better. You know, at the end of the day, he said, now I'm going to teach you these things, but I'm going to swear you to secrecy. You know, and I said, I won't share that it came from you, but if I can make my product better and make other people's product better, is that okay with you? And he said, that's fine.
Yeah. That's amazing. And when did you and Arlie meet?
Gosh. Oh, my gosh. This would have been... What your first competition would have been, I think we talked about that. That would have been in Riverside, Burbank.
You took us to eat one night from Burbank, so that was Griffin Park.
Griffith Park.
Altry.
Yeah, it was one of those. Yeah. I think maybe even before then, Las Vegas or something, you were the coordinator. You know, it made no difference where these events were. We just went.
Yeah.
You know?
How did you and Arlie become such good friends?
Gosh, where do I even begin?
Right.
You know, one day at a time.
One day at a time is right. Well, it's one day, one impression, one event where you find the people that are the ones that are doing all the work, that are smiling, that are, you know, like the girl that we saw this morning that was, you know, cleaning the toilets, yet she was cracking jokes with me, and you know, she wanted to give me a high five, and you know, I was joking with her that I saw her on the news, and she's like, I saw you on the news. You know, it's like, it's that, and I guarantee you when we come back tomorrow, she's going to have that same smile on her face. You know, and those are the things that, you know, those are the people that we always want to surround ourselves with. You know, it's and barbecue gives you that opportunity, because it tests you physically and it tests you mentally. You know, to get through a weekend, to get through a contest, you know, you're competing with the best. You know,
I don't think a lot of people really even understand how intense this is. I mean, to do a barbecue event and to stay up all night and to do the amount of food that everyone's doing. I mean, there's so many moving parts. To put them all in place, and then to be able to still go out and create relationships and talk to people, and you know, some of those people become your best friends. They become the people you call. I mean, look at Sean. You know, Sean and I, barbecue brought us together, and we're best friends now. And
it's like, Derek, I need you to donate meat for the teams, and you're like, what do you need it for?
Yeah.
I said, well, we're going to raise money for local youth sports. He's like, I'm all in, whatever you need. And you know, we were talking to somebody else that they want to put on, you know, a professional barbecue contest, and they've been talking to Arlie, and you know, they wanted to find out, you know, what our experience was doing amateur events and professional events. And you know, what we told them was, at the end of the day, you got to surround yourself with the best people with the best heart, because if you don't have the right heart, once barbecue becomes about money, and then it becomes about the wrong thing, because it's not about money.
I mean, we even teased him about it, you know, when we were talking. It's like, dude,
we were
literally,
honest,
if you're in it for the money, I mean, it's a wrong place for you. Like, this is not about that at all. And
it can't be.
I mean, if you're in it for that, you're in it for the wrong reasons. Those are the people that we don't want to help.
No, I mean, it can't be. I mean, Gene, you all the relationships that you have, those were always with people that were selfless.
Yes. Well, it's like, you, Sean, and you, Derek, you're the next generation of Randy.
Well,
you're out there to help everybody and to do good things, to raise money for people who don't have money, who need things, charities. I mean, I think it's a great thing. And that's why I like being around you guys, is you've got the right mindset.
Well,
you got heart. You got heart. That's important.
It's an honor to watch you and Randy and Arlie, and just to do what you guys do, and you do it with a smile. And people sometimes will complain, and then they'll, say, "Oh, I don't like this or that." And all you're trying to do is to make that event better and to give back. And because you do that, you're leading by example. And whether you realize it or not, Derek and I and our team and Bill and JC, we see what you do, and it impacts us. It impacts us significantly.
Well, I think the beauty of everything we're doing here is that doing these events gives people confidence, not to be afraid to step out.
Yes.
With the confidence and more experience, you can take on these big projects.
Sure.
They're not such a giant hurdle. You were talking about how the tasks that you were doing now seemed to increase from last year. Every year, whatever the event is, it'll be that much easier. This will be one more thing in your pocketbook that you'll be able to draw upon and say, you know what? Yeah, that's old hat.
Right.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right.
There's nothing to it. It's like when people ask, well, you're going to do another cook for 29 Palms? Yeah, I get my health back. I'm going to do it. I've got people around me. We'll bankroll this entire thing. Won't be any politics involved. We'll just do it.
Yeah.
We'll just do it. And I've got to tell you one last story about the young men at the 29 Palms base. I mean, I have to tell you, there is nothing better in my mind than having a couple platoons of young men come by and ask, we're about to start a work detail. Can you make us a sandwich now so that we don't miss it?
Yeah.
I said, of course, come on over. We'd make monster sandwiches.
Nice.
Every sandwich was at least a pound, maybe even more of that.
Jeez.
Yes.
And these men devoured it,
right,
knowing full well that this may have been the best barbecue they've ever experienced. Competition style.
Right.
Competition championship barbecue. Absolutely.
And they loved it. Throughout that weekend, they would come up to me and say, "Oh, that was awesome. Oh man, that was just a wonderful. Can you do it again?" So, those memories are burned in my mind.
Well, when you put your love into what you're doing and into the food that you're making, it changes everything, because when people have it, it makes them so happy. And when we were yesterday, doing the media tour, we were going on the radio, we were on the TV, we're walking around with Derek and we're walking with JC and Bill and Corey, and we're going there and we're saying hello to the person that's the security, and we're saying hello to, the person that's checking the stamp, and we're like, we're the barbecue people, we're coming on Sunday. They're like, "Oh, I love barbecue." Like, great, well, we're going to bring you barbecue. And what we said after we left was, we make sure who's going to bring that person barbecue, because so many people use that as a leverage to get what they want, to get in the door. And for us, it's like, once on Sunday we go and we give that person that we said 3 days ago that we were going to come bring barbecue, it's going to change their world. They're going to be like, how is that possible? And it's so easy for us. Yes. When we can do something like this, we can do that. We can do that. And it's like, well, because so many times people are let down by what people say. And for us, it doesn't matter how small that thing is. Once we give that taste of barbecue to somebody else that we promised, they're like, "I can't believe that you actually remembered that."
You guys are doing an absolutely fantastic job. Last year, when I was asked to come over here and help, I was very impressed with how willing your crews were to assist. And I got to tell you, that's why when Gene said, "You got another event coming," of course I'll be there. I'll move whatever it takes to get that to come down here, because I enjoyed, the wonderful people that are represented by your.
That means the world to us. You have no idea.
To all of you collectively, it's just great.
It's a fantastic staff here.
Yeah.
All of the people working this event are all wonderful. I worked with a lot of them for a long time. And Derek's staff, I haven't worked with all of them all that much, but they're all doing a great job. They'll do anything for anybody. They're in there in the refrigerated truck freezing to death, pulling out meat, giving things to people, doing things for people, carrying things.
Yeah.
It's just a great group.
Well, I think that a lot of times, too, is that you need to lead by example, too. I don't think your employees are willing to work as hard for you if they don't see you in those coolers sometimes.
Yeah.
If they don't see you getting your hands dirty and staying up till like we said, we don't stop when we're tired. We stop till when we're done. And when my employees see that and they know we're going to grind and we're going to go and it's rewarding to see what's happening. We're growing. We're able to give back more. And if they see that, and Sean and I talk about this, and I'm sure everyone's tired of me saying it, but it's what I want my sons to be able to see what Dad did. What Dad did was didn't worry about what he got. He worried about what he could give back.
Right.
And if I can teach them that, I think I did my job.
It's actually a step further because it's not just that legacy that you live. It's that inspiration that Dalton will see that and it will impact his life to want to do that and carry that forward.
You're the role model.
Absolutely.
You're the role model for those people in your restaurant, for those people that come in contact with you. You're the role model for all these people out here. They will pick up all those good vibes, all those, good thoughts, your intention, and it'll make a difference.
And I think when there's an organic feel with that too, is that I hope I am able to exude the where people see that it's not fake. It's truly what I want to do, and that's true. It's not like I'm trying to fake anything. And Sean's the same way. It's like I think that's why we work so well together, is because we work for a common goal, and the common goal is not us. It's not.
It's definitely not
it's way
us.
bigger than that.
And it's one of those things when you find people that, nobody's harder on myself than I'm myself.
Oh God.
I'm my biggest critic, and
wear myself out.
I go through, and no matter how successful the event is, it's like, well, what could I have done better? How was there an opportunity where I could have done better and where I could have helped more? But when you do that every single day, you get amazing opportunities. You meet amazing people like Gene and like Arlie and like yourself that, look at where we are. We wouldn't be in Del Mar with a Kansas City. There's the fact that there was 55 teams getting loaded in on the Pacific Classic. The amount of work that Del Mar Thoroughbred Club had to do to go through all these different moving parts with security and with, the premier that does all the beer and the wine. It's unbelievable what we had to do to get these teams in here. Yet it was better than it was last year. And last year was a slower day because it was the day after opening day. And that's a testament to the people that we bring in. And, you have one of your best friends that you brought into the world of barbecue. And, somebody asked me today, they're like, Chris, actually from Del Mar, was like, where did you find your team? Because he's like, I can't believe I haven't gotten a call from you all day. Are you okay? Because last year it was like, I need this, or like, this wasn't done right. And he's like, I can't believe how amazing your team is. Are these all employees? I'm like, we're fortunate that, 80% are employees, but 20% are our best friends. They're our best friends. Yeah, our best friends that are volunteering
just
coming out to give back. And, that's why you guys have been such amazing friends, and that's why you made friendships, like you have here at this table. We're honored, absolutely honored to spend time with you.
I'm actually honored to be here with you guys to help you move forward.
Well, thank you. What do you see the movement, or where do you see barbecue going? You guys have been in it for so long. What's changed? What are the positives you guys are seeing? What are the negatives? What
can we do better?
Yeah, what can we do better?
From a if we deal with the California Barbecue Association versus the Kansas City Barbecue Association, they're different, entirely different. California is going through a lot of changes right now, and what they need to, I think, in my mind, they need to refocus themselves more on what can they do to help others. What can they do to help the schools? What can they do to help the charities, the churches, the military? I think that was where we were at 15 years ago. Mm-hmm. We've gotten away from that. I think it's wonderful that we have competitions, but it shouldn't be based on money.
Yes.
That's not where it's at. The money is something that should be, used towards, if you're the winner, just know the money's going to a charity.
Yeah.
Right.
You get a wonderful plaque, you get everyone's acknowledgement. What more can you possibly ask for?
Sure.
But it's not about the money. Let's get back to
I
really.
think that's very, very wise what you said. And I mean, that's why barbecue has given us as all the opportunities we have, is because when you get back to the basics, it's about giving back.
Yeah.
We just had a raffle. One of my best friend's wives just passed away at 34 years old, and we did a big raffle, a fish raffle, and there was probably about $8,000 worth of gear that different people that donated or whatever it was, and it was just that same thing. That the guy that won the raffle donated back and said, "Let's make some more money. How can we keep making more?" The next guy donated back, and then finally it got to a point where everyone donated it, and then they ended up giving him all the gear. So he got money just to to raise, all for his daughter and stuff, and he got all the gear, and it was just, I'm getting chills right now just thinking about it, because it was just such a cool thing to be a part of, and to see that, and hopefully, people see that in KCBS too. It's when you get that, it's cool.
Derek,
to give to that
you
charity.
raised over $100,000 for your best friend who went through one of the hardest, that is still going through one of the hardest things that anyone can ever go through. His wife was amazing.
Guess where he's going to be tomorrow volunteering?
He's going to be here.
He's going to be here. His wife just passed away.
He's going to be here. Yeah, and that's...
Because he's selfless too. He does the same things. Like, now what? I need to do my part. I need to give back. I need to do those things, and it's great when people... I hope it's contagious. I hope that people will catch on and know that that's what it should be about.
Well, the refreshing thing is just seeing our team and seeing our team grow. The people that we've added on, they get inspired by the leading by example. They see, and then they start to understand, hey, if I look at this as an opportunity to learn from Arlie, then maybe I can go and ask some questions. Yeah, Arlie's good for a couple jokes.
Oh, he's good for more. I sometimes shut up around Arlie. It's like I just want to listen to him sometimes. Like, and what can I hear? What can I take from him? It's funny. He's definitely, he's pretty fucking hilarious.
Oh my God, yeah. But yeah, Randy, what do you what do you think your legacy that you want to leave behind?
I don't think it's a matter of leaving a legacy. I think it's more of a matter of follow by example. Just care about others. Care about others first. Everything else will take place. I'm dealing with some pretty serious medical issues right now, and I met with my pastor, and it's so funny. I asked in prayer, what can I do differently? What more do you want? And the response I woke up with the following morning was, be humble. Okay, I got the message. I'll be humbler. Whatever you think I need to do, I'll do that. But I think that's what we need to all be, is not be so full of ourselves, but be a little humble and respect the guy next to you. And, don't be afraid to reach out and give him a hand up. Makes all the difference in the world.
I talked about this on Scott and BR and with Sean. One of my buddies was Junior Seau growing up, and one of the best things he actually taught me was humility. I was in high school and an All-American in football and all these things, and he was asking me how I was doing. I'm like, I'm doing great. I'm smashing these people. I'm doing this. I'm doing that. I'm killing everyone. And he always he calls people buddy. He said, buddy, be humble. Be humble. Knock that guy down. Pick him back up. Be humble. It really taught me a lot too. It's the humility aspect of things goes so far. You don't even realize it sometimes, but how it's honest. The humility is great.
So tell us about being a custodian.
Boy, that's another loaded question. I think it starts.
How can we be a better custodian?
I think by carefully looking at your life and looking at how your relationship with your family, looking at your relationship with your Lord, looking at your relationship with your friends, looking at what more can I do. John F. Kennedy, a really great man, asked not of what your country can do for you, but what can you do for your country. That is a mindset that we should embrace.
Absolutely.
And I think that's the role model that I think all of us want to be remembered for. Not that, he had his hand out or asked for sympathy or anything. You live your life hopefully without regrets. Try not to make every stupid mistake you can make. And I've certainly made my fair share of them. I've fumbled the ball, but I've tried to learn from those mistakes. And it's important, in my professional career as an attorney. Remember that you're a professional. Be humble. There are other attorneys that do the job better than you, so don't not be respectful. Greet everyone with a smile, and remember, you live one day at a time. You take that one step further. What do you do for the community? Well, Ron and I cook for the church. We cook for any event that needs our help. They need our help. We'll figure out how to make it happen, and we'll be there.
I can't believe what you did last year for us it was our first year event, and, we've talked about we need the PC, otherwise the event doesn't make sense for the public. And, I was talking to Gene, and, we're cooking on both of our pits, and Derek's cooking we brought out our restaurant. We did absolutely everything. We're like, well, how can we get more PC teams? And, Gene's like, well, I can call Randy and see if he can do it. He's got this scheduling thing that he might not be able to make it. And he's like, but he told me he's going to do it. And I was like, that's amazing. Not only did you do it, but you came in just smiling, excited. You embraced the event. You slept underneath your smoker. You cooked everything that we asked of you. You embraced, Corey's girlfriend, Alana. You everything you did, you led by example. And, it was absolutely incredible. We are here today because you were willing to do that. You were willing to help us out to get past that first year. Putting on a first year event, it doesn't happen if we don't have Gene and we don't have Arlie, we don't have you. Like, it doesn't happen. Now we have an opportunity and to do what we've promised the track, and we're going to put on the best possible barbecue event, to showcase KCBS to the entire West Coast, because there's amazing things happening in California. We even got teams coming from Texas and from Arizona. This is a great place to barbecue, right on the Pacific Ocean.
Doesn't get any better.
Yeah.
We just need to get teams to start looking at the big picture.
Right.
Yeah.
The big picture, not about what's important to me, but how can I be more helpful to others.
Once you stop worrying about yourself and your company and you start worrying about your community, everything changes. Once I wouldn't be friends with Derek if I didn't think outside of our restaurant walls. I was like, well, how can Spring Valley be better? Well, it can be better if Derek shares the same vision that I do.
Well, and think about it. Look how we could easily be enemies.
Easily.
We're a mile away.
I'm
both
competitive.
Do barbecue. Yeah, we both do barbecue. We both, we could easily just be like, oh, dude, don't go to Cali. I send everybody to Cali Comfort.
Absolutely.
It's like Cali Comfort is mine.
Yes.
Because I love it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I obviously don't own it, but it's like, I feel like just such a part of that family. It's like, that is my place, man. Like, go there, go embrace it.
And the more that you've embraced it, the more that my staff have embraced you, and the more that they've come to you. And like, it's amazing what giving does. Yeah. It's absolutely amazing what giving. And we're talking about a place in East County, San Diego, a village that people, they're not familiar with, but even the people that live there, they get into their own patterns and their own patterns in life where they're like, well, I'm not going to go there. I don't know about it. Once you go outside of your pattern, there's amazing things out there. There's amazing people out there. And if you listen to those amazing people, you never know what opportunity might come up.
Yeah, look,
we're on.
here we are.
Here we are.
Here we are. Sometimes you got to get out of your own way. You know,
Yeah.
don't like Randy was saying. You know, have that humility. It's you know, don't be so proud of you know. No, man, I need help. You know, I think it's not about just what I can do. It's about a movement. Let's move barbecue in the right direction. Let's get everyone on the same page for a common goal.
And you need small companies to act like that, but you also need the big companies. You know, you need the big companies to embrace that things are going to happen at this micro level in order to change at a macro level.
Yeah. Well, man, this is so awesome.
This is
I just love it.
It's such. We're so humbled by you, by how you live your life, by the way that you embrace your friendship with all the barbecue community, the way that you embrace your friendship with your church, the way that you give back to the homeless. I mean, you've been such an inspiration for us, and to take the time, you know, here we are, you know, we've all been here since before the sun came up. And
I live here. I feel like
we have
weeks.
We have a hotel room, but really our hotel should just be the trailer.
Yeah, just go there for a second.
That's really where we just check in and then put the light. But we love it. I mean, we absolutely.
Oh, we wouldn't
love
be
it.
here if we didn't, man.
Yeah.
And if we didn't feel like we were making a difference too, and that's what we want to do. Is
Tomorrow, organizations in training. I mean, we're going to have this, you know, this nonprofit charity that, you know, one of our best friends, that he's the president of, and they're really trying to impact homeless youth and
youth,
give them mentorship with people our age that are
cool
leaders in the community.
It's not like here we're gonna give you
it's
food.
Not, it's not. Oh, here's
we're
money,
gonna,
and
we're
we're
gonna mentor
gone.
you. We're gonna actually take time, because sometimes time's worth way more than money. If I can show you
and
the whys.
And those people that are drawn in to help you won't just be chefs. They'll come from all across the community. They'll be there to help, to make a difference.
Yeah, and it's really, really exciting. And, you know, for Del Mar to have leadership, you know, like Craig Dato, to, you know, to believe in me and to believe in Derek, and, you know, because he it's a risk. You know, it's a risk to bring these barbecue rigs in here and, you know, oh yeah, just go ahead right next to the thoroughbred horses and, you know, in the middle of the concert venue, and, you know, put in 25,000 people, and, you know, just go ahead and make this as, you know, a safe, family friendly, amazing event. You know, there's a lot of moving parts to make that happen.
Right. I know.
Gene had to field a couple phone calls this week.
I don't think their liability team really.
He's good at that, though.
Yes.
Oh yeah,
he's got broad shoulders. He'll just, you know, flow with the tide. He'll think about it and he'll come up with his answer.
It's funny. We'll have things and it's like, oh, just ask Gene, and within a few minutes you're getting an email. It's done.
Done.
Oh, that's how you do it. You just
checked off the list.
Get it done. Yeah. Definitely.
Well, is there anything, any words of wisdom you would give to the new barbecuer coming into this KCBS world, or this world of giving back?
No, I think we pretty much covered all the topics.
Yeah.
You know, at this point, it'd just be redundant.
Well, we are very, very honored that we could spend the time, you know, and like I said, it's for us being here all day, and everyone's going to be here earlier than early, whatever that time is.
It's game time, man.
It's game time.
It's game time.
And, you know, these are the things that, you know, when I will always remember the time that I spent with my grandfather. You know, he raised me. I never met my father, and, you know, my grandfather, nothing was more important than sitting down and sharing stories and telling me about, you know, how he was raised in his village and what his grandfather taught him and what his father taught him about work and about a willingness to learn. And those are the things that for the rest of my life, that it's a treasure that I have, you know, and I'm grateful for that. And I'm grateful for the time that, you know, you spent with us tonight, and Gene and Arlie, and we're fired up for tomorrow. We can't wait to see our team shine, all these barbecue teams shine, and, you know, raise some money for organizations and training, and have an amazing day at the races.
Yeah, no, it's good, and excited to do it. We'll see how it goes.
It'll be great. You'll see.
Thank you so much. We appreciate it.
All right, guys.
Have a good night.
Thank you.